So we asked you on the streets of Lagos who you felt should be the governor of the month, but now it's time to make things official. Now the world was looking at President Muhammadu Buhari's 100 days in office, and we forgot, it seems, about the governors, but we haven't forgotten our Good Morning Nigeria, because today we are going to be doing our own 100 days appraisal, but we'll be looking at the governors who will be crowned the best governor after 100 days in office. Well, joining us to reveal this and more, well, let me give you some background first, where there's a ranking, an official ranking that's in place in Nigeria where this is done. This came from CIAPS, Governor's Performance Index, which is a monthly governor performance review. So we're joined by Olumuyiwa Ayoola, who is the research director of CIAPS, and he's been on the show before to reveal previous winners. We've had weekday, we've had El-Rufai, and today we have...
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Do you feel nervous when you have to present? Almost like you seem like the INEC chair, when it was releasing the results on the day of election.
Official.
So, and everyone was like, oh.
Well, it wasn't panicky. I mean, it was just
cool
holding
as
Jega. Jega was very cool. I mean,
yeah, no, he's not more cucumber. He's as cool as Jega. He's surpassed the cucumber. Yeah.
My apologies. So that's the obvious question to begin with. Who is, after your research that you've done, who is the best governor following 100 days in office in Nigeria?
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of background. We've actually been doing on a monthly basis. So we did for the first month ending on June 29, which was won by Nasir El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State.
Yes.
Then the next one, June 29 to July 29, was won by Nyesom Wike of Rivers State. Mm-hmm. Now, we felt like 100 days gives a kind of latitude for us to look over a longer period of time.
More important than the
more important.
Is this going to follow? Or are you going to go back to month to month?
We'll go back to monthly after this, but just because during this time it's 100 days and it's becoming like an international phenomenon for people to look. Hashtag 100 days. So we did 100 days, and for the 100 days in Nigeria, coincidentally, is the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, who is the best governor for 100 days in Nigeria.
Can I just ask you, because some people might be watching at home and wanting to find out, or perhaps you're going to explain it in a few minutes, how do you arrive at the winner of the best governor, for instance, of the month of the state? What kind of measures, or how do you measure their performance to determine who is the best? All right,
okay. Now, what we did is, on a monthly basis, we evolved certain parameters to be used to determine. For the 100 days, we did... we add 5 parameters. The first is readiness for office. Okay. We're looking at people who, even before they were sworn in, for example, like El-Rufai, even before he was sworn in, he already had his chief of staff and all others in place. We're looking for, and even when getting there, the period to get their commissioners, the things they were able to do, that's in tune with the mood of the nation. We're looking at people who are, because right now, Nigeria, we are saying, because of the dwindling oil price, people who are reducing costs, people who are, that's another criteria. Another one is innovation. Okay. Oil price has gone down. What are you doing to show up the internal generated revenue for your state? Okay. And how are you blocking the loopholes? Then the other is security, because we felt that security is something that if you can begin to make impact on the first day when you get to power, and then leadership by example, how you are able to use yourself like a, if I can say, sacrificial lamb for the state, so that you can, take the state to the next level. So those are the 5 criteria we use, and we gave each 20 marks, so they're scored over that, then added, and we get the percentage.
These. Oh, sorry. These are. It seems great parameters. But I'm wondering, how do you know when there's one thing when a politician says, what I'm going to do, this is what I want to put in place, other than, these things actually being put in place. So when you're judging, when you're giving these politicians a mark out of 20, are you going by things that have been implemented, or is there a mixture between what they propose they will do, irrespective of later, perhaps they might have to come out and say, oh, we can't do it, there aren't these funds, looters, corruption, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, I understand it's actually a mixture of both. Okay. And what happens is this then. Let's say, for example, this month, you clearly stated that I'm going to do this in, let's say, 30 days or 100 days, and you did not do it. Of course, for the first month, when you said it will count for you. Okay. But when the time for implementation comes and you did not do it, of course, good. For example, the governor of Cross River State said he was going to create 10,000 jobs within his 100 days in office. He has not created that. So that, of course, would.
Have you gone back to their manifestos to check what they promised as against what has actually happened in the first 100 days? Because the number of people, like you mentioned, might not have remembered that he said he was going to create 10,000 jobs and he hasn't fulfilled it.
Well, if he made a promise and he did not fulfill it, that is his problem. not has always.
No, but you're the researcher. Yeah. So, like I was saying, we would expect you to dig in to make sure, okay, now El-Rufai has been named as the best governor over 100 days. Yes. We need to cross-check that there's nothing he said he would do that he hasn't done.
Now, let's look at it this way. I just made the point of, because of the question you asked, I just made the point of the governor of Cross River State. Now, what we do here is we actually focus based on what they are doing or what they said or what they are doing right now. Okay. As, not necessarily as against their manifesto, but what they are doing right now vis-a-vis their manifesto one and also the manifesto of their party. Okay. So, for example, if, for example, APC say they're coming with change, for example, and then we look at the governor of Kaduna State, and he took some pretty hard decisions that ordinarily will make him not very popular in the state.
Can you talk about some of the, his decisions? Yeah. What stood out for you for why El-Rufai did so well?
For Kaduna State, for example, first, he stopped the distribution of fertilizers to politicians and top emirs. Now, it was a circus in the state. The people who need the fertilizers don't get it. The people who don't need it are the ones getting it, and they sell it to others or to the people who need it at an exorbitant rate. He stopped the sponsoring of pilgrimages in the state, right? He told them that the state doesn't have the money to do that. Now, you need to understand that Kaduna State has a huge population of Muslims. That ordinarily would count against him. Then he also stopped and above, he also reduced ministries from 18 to 13, saying that, and he didn't just do that, he also retired some permanent secretaries, because what it means is that if some were not retired, some of them are going to become redundant. So in order not to allow that to happen, he reduced that. And another thing that I did that is very important is that Southern Kaduna has always had killings, religious killings and all of that. And the former governor of the state, Patrick Yakowa, the one who died in the play, actually set up a committee that brought out a report on how to stop the killings. The governor that left before El-Rufai came in didn't implement it. The moment El-Rufai came in, he started the implementation of it, and to a large degree, there has been a reduction. At least in the last 100 days, we've not had any political killings or religious killings in Southern Kaduna.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, you've mentioned the 5 criteria or the benchmark that you use to measure how you arrive at who the best governor of the month or the first 100 days is. Who makes the decision? Now, is it a team of researchers at CIAPS, or are people consulted? So, for instance, we showed a Vox, showed people on the streets reacting to who they felt was their best governor. Some people mentioned Anambra State, some people said it was Lagos, Ambode. So for those people hearing it's not their man, and they're asking you how, I think that Ambode was absolutely outstanding. Why was he not chosen? Who makes these decisions? So you've gotten the benchmark. Who makes the decision? Now,
what we do is CIAPS. It's a training and a learning institute. Okay. Apart from of course, myself, I'm the coordinator. Right. But we also have a team of experts who look at all of those things. So we sit down together and said, okay, what are the parameters we can use considering our level of development in Nigeria as right now? Of course, because most of the governors that we are analyzing are still new, that's why you find something like readiness for office. Yes. As time goes on, of course, something like readiness for office would no longer be tenable. Yeah. So we would have to change it. But for now, because they are starting, the team of experts actually working with CIAPS, actually sat down to develop this parameter. It's not just one man's job, it's actually a team, yes.
So in order for us to have, a winner,
Okay.
there has to be a loser.
Yes.
I'm very curious to know who is bottom of the pile.
Unfortunately, the governor, the person at the state at
Why you sound so nervous.
No. I didn't want to say the person. The state at the bottom is Adamawa State. Adamawa State.
And what gave them that blessed position?
Like I said about when we were here like a month ago, Adamawa State has been quite unfortunate with
this is the second time, isn't it?
with the choice of governors. And perhaps you would realize that apart from the fact that the state just had commissioners like 2 weeks ago,
yes,
this governor Bindo has not been able to analyze any policy direction for the state. I mean, I'm sure you remember when he said recently that they were budgeted 200 million to look for prayer warriors to stop Boko Haram in the state. I mean, does that sound?
Yeah. So he didn't have any policies when coming into government, when he come into position of authority. Now you mentioned commissioners because this is a big issue. Now one of the reasons why he's at the bottom of the pile is because he hasn't appointed commissioners.
Not just that, it's because there's no policy direction for the state. But when you're mentioning commissioners, one of the we hope it will be is the fact that the commissioner for health in the state, Dr. Fatima Abubakar,
yes,
actually the day they were sworn in, first said she's forgoing her salary allowances and all of that, and she analyzed some pretty nice, if I can put it, policy for education for health in the state. We are optimistic that perhaps, at least health-wise, the state will have something positive to
100 days. But there are also other states who haven't appointed commissioners. In Lagos, we haven't had the list of commissioners released, I have to say that. I wonder what number the governor of Lagos State is.
The governor of Lagos State is actually 50%. That's
How does that compare with other governors?
With other governors.
Is that a good or a terrible mark?
It's just average.
Oh.
Now, for example, the first month when the governor first came in, he did so many things. He was going about with a lot of plans, talking about reducing the traffic, demand spent on traffic in Lagos State, announced the construction of a pedestrian bridge on Bega, and so many other things. He went to Ejigbo Axis and started the construction of those states, and also cleared, if you remember, the first 30 days when he came in, Apapa gridlock was cleared. But as we speak now, Apapa is back. Crime is very high in Lagos. Almost on a daily basis, people get robbed on the road.
We were just speaking about that earlier.
Almost on a daily basis, people get robbed on the road. So while we understand that because of the high-fly nature of the former governor of Lagos State, Babajide Fashola, whoever was going to come after him would have a huge task.
Huge shoes to
fill. So we gave a latitude for that so that it doesn't seem as if we are judging him based on the past. But
why shouldn't you judge him based on the past performance?
He's his own man. He's only been there for 100 days. We can't judge him on the performance of Mr. Raji Fashola. We can only judge him on his own. And his first 30 days was very good. Okay. But now, there's nowhere to be found.
Thank you so much. This is definitely a conversation that should continue, even though we have to stop. So get onto facebook.com/GMNS Cool TV and Twitter @GMNS Cool TV. Keep up the good work.
Thank
this
you.
is something, I think it might be better. We'll leave it to the professionals to decide who the best governor is, because we're a little bit sometimes patriotic here. We shout our state without even knowing what our governors have done. So on that note, let's head over to Mr. Victor, who's standing by with the second news bulletin of the morning.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.